Well, I'll just give you a little recap on the past 24 hours because they've been a little rough. Um, Yesterday, I went out for my first run around here, which was great, and I went up and down the streets and got to see, the city from up top because I ran up kind of towards the mountain. And I asked Mabel, I'm like, do I need my key to get in? And she's like, no, I'll be here like the rest of the afternoon. And I was like, okay, perfect. Walking back to the apartment, I'm like, oh shoot, I need a key to get into the apartment to then get up to the apartment door. Great. And so I sat there, I'm like, all right, so I'm just gonna be waiting. But then I'm like, maybe I can, because I don't have Wi Fi on my phone. But then a guy walked by and he went into the apartment building. I'm like, yes, score, whatever. Got to the room, knocked, nothing. So then I started banging on the door, nothing. Then there's a little doorbell thing, so I did that as well, nothing. So I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll text her something. I'm like, don't have Wi Fi. So then I'm like, okay, and then went back downstairs. So I waited for like a half an hour, went back up, tried again really hard because I thought she maybe went to El Mercado or something, and no. So then I banged and waited, and then randomly my phone got connected to Wi-Fi, and so then I texted her immediately, no response. 5 minutes later, I texted her again, no response. Then I was just sitting by the door on the doormat trying to hold on to this Wi-Fi. And then I'm like, you know what, maybe I'll call her. And this is like after an hour. Called her, she got it immediately. She was napping and her phone didn't have the sound on, so she didn't know. But then when I called, the sound came on. So that was that. But then today was the first day of actual school. And it was good. Long. Started at 9:30, and then we got done at a little after, like around 2-ish, and we had like a half an hour break. So it was just, sitting in the chair for like 2 hours at a time. It was just, ugh, don't like it that much. But my professor seemed really, really nice. We did grammar for the first 2 hours, had a half an hour break, grammar for another hour, then my literature class was for the last hour. And so that was really cool. And today we met some girls two from New York, and we kind of befriended them, which was really cool. One's named Autumn and another is named Emily. And then we also met a girl from Nashville, and her name is Brittany. And so we're starting to make friends! Yay! And then trying to think what it. Oh, so then came home, had lunch, had this really, really good pasta with salad. Like always, I have salad with almost every single meal, and they don't have dressing here, so it's basically olive oil, and then I put olive oil in my salad, and then like this apple vinegar, and you kind of mix that around, and the salad has tomatoes, onions, cucumbers, and it's really good. And so that's at least something healthy, right? Then I was gonna go meet up with my friends after mi siesta. So I wake up and also have my map, and I'm like, you know what? We're meeting at the university, but I think there's a shortcut. Long story short, the shortcut turned into an hour of me wandering around the city without Wi-Fi, so like without data, with my physical map, walking around trying to find my way to this university. Like there were probably 3 times when I looked around and had absolutely zero clue which direction I was, where I was going. I literally had no clue where I was at. And so then finally I found the La Oficina de Turismo, and so I'm the tourism office, and I was like, okay, perfect. Went in, I'm like, at least I'll have like Wi-Fi, right, so I can like call my like friends or something and have them come get me or come find. I can send my current location. No Wi-Fi. But I asked him, and I'm like, ¿Dónde está la Universidad de Oviedo? Yada, yada, yada. And showed me, he got out this big map, showed me it. And then, like, I've been there, and that's not right. Like, I've walked past that, and it's literally not there. Like, I know you're lying. But I'm like, you know what? I'll try it again. So, walk there. No, not there. Literally nowhere to be found. So I'm like, okay. So then I keep walking, make a big old loop, and back in the Oficina de Turismo. And like, I walk in and I go, lo siento, which is, I'm sorry. I was like, and it was the same guy, and I was like, oh my gosh. And they like knew, they're like, de donde eres, which is where are you from? And I'm like, los Estados Unidos, like, they know. And So then and then another lady helped me, but told me the same thing. And I was like, oh my gosh. But then she showed me that, there's like this office for foreign exchange students basically. And I was like, okay. And so then I go there and it's closed. It's closed. But I still go in the middle and find this area, and I'm like, okay, the building that my classes are in is called La Casa de las Lenguas, and right next door is La Biblioteca, which is the library. So I'm like, okay, at least I'll know where the library is, right? Like, that's a common building. I asked them, and they're like, oh, right over there, like within this building. And I go into this thing, and it's almost like a little bookstore. It's super modern, like really cool looking, like dark, but I'm like, this is not La Biblioteca. No, no está aquí. And so I just kind of went, and then finally I asked this guy that was in like the store, the biblioteca, and he's like, oh, La Casa de las Lenguas, which is, and then he was like, it's in the Milan campus, which there's different campuses around the city. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. And I didn't know that. I was like, this isn't it, but I don't know why. And so then he showed me on the map, and it was about like a 10-minute walk, and I'm like, okay, well, this makes sense. And then on the map, like, it looked like the buildings. He knew exactly what I was talking about. I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like, thank you. So then I start walking in the right direction, and I walk past La Calle de Gaesco, or Gascona. Gascona, lo siento, Gascona. And that's, like, the bar area, and it's, like, has las sidrias and all of that kind of stuff. And so then I start walking in this direction, and down the street, I see this whole big group of girls that are my friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And they're like, Hannah, we were waiting for you for like a half an hour. And I felt bad too, because I told them I was gonna be there, and I couldn't tell them that I wasn't going. And I was like, I am so sorry, like, I got lost, and I had my map, and I was almost crying multiple times. And so that was really fun. But other than that, and then we walked around for like a couple hours and went kind of more eastern Oviedo, which was really cool. And we went to El Parque de San Francisco, and we went to the cathedral. Oh, and we went to the art museum. We went to the art museum, which is awesome. It was so cool. Like, I saw a Picasso painting today. Like, what? I saw a Picasso painting. That's so cool. And they had like a violin playing, and I'm like, this is really cool. But yeah, and so then I finally made it back home, and Mabel y yo are gonna have dinner soon. So, made it through the second day, first day of classes. Last 24 hours have been a little bit crazy, but you know what? Made it through. Still in Spain, so we got that going for me.